Morning. So about a week or 2 weeks ago, I said I was going to start going through my collection and taking out the things that I wanted to get rid of because various reasons why I decided that. But I've kind of had I guess I'd say a once over. I have to go through again and really double check and think about it more in depth. But I showed a small stack last week. Well, here's another stack of the ones that I think I'm going to get rid of, or actually, I'm almost certain I'm going to, unless something major happens. So I'll just go through, show them, and maybe explain a little bit why I'm going to get rid of them. You can also hear my voice that I'm recovering from a cold. It is winter down here. And when you've got a 6-year-old at school, he brings home every virus going around. You can imagine it's hard to stay kind of healthy in winter. Well, not stay healthy, but at least it's hard to not get viruses, colds. This one hasn't been that bad, but it's kind of affecting my voice quite a bit. But anyway, let's have a look at this. So the first one we've got here is the music of Jean-Michel. Was it Jean-Michel Jarre? Jean-Michel Jarre? Michel? I think it's Michel in French, isn't it? Now, I like him, Jarre. And I've got a few. I think this is I've got 3 different kind of compilation albums of his. The reason why I'm getting rid of this one is because this is instrumental. They're all instrumental. His music doesn't have vocals, but this is renditions of it. These are not the original versions recorded by him. These are re-recorded renditions done by someone else. I don't know who. Some of them you can't actually tell a big difference, but some of them you can. They sound like budget versions, like recorded just in a much cheaper and less, less dynamic way. So it's got most of the songs that he's famous for, but yes, it's just, like I said, re-records. The music of Jean-Michel Jarre, 16 instrumental hits. I'm trying to see, you can tell these kinds of things. I've talked about this before when re-records or kind of not original versions. You can usually tell by looking at some kind of clue. So like hits and hits, I guess that's the label, and that would be a label that isn't up to much. The liner notes are pretty much non-existent. It's just like a single leaf type thing or double leaf. So yeah, we got some of the other ones. Instrumental hits of ABBA, Elvis, Lionel Richie, Elton John. So in some ways, this one is probably the best of those because instrumental hits of like Rod Stewart, for example, it's going to be your worst because these are originally instrumental anyway. So it's not a huge difference between the re-records. But yeah, I don't need lesser versions of Jean-Michel Jarre's music. I guess the question is who would actually want this, because I'm going to get rid of it. Like the first protocol is going to try and sell them together, but I'd say most people don't want this, so it may end up just being donated back to the charity store I bought it from for a 50 cents or whatever originally. Next up, Whitney Houston, The Ultimate Collection. I have another Whitney Houston Greatest Hits double disc, so it has all the same songs and more. So I thought, well, I don't need 2. I don't listen to Whitney Houston much anyway, so I certainly don't need 2 Greatest Hits collections. So this is actually this is fine. There's no problem with this. And if I didn't have the other one, I would keep this one, but I do have the other one. So it has all her hits. I Will Always Love You, Slaving All My Love For You, Greatest Love All, I'm sure we've heard all those. This was released in 2007, which I think was before she passed away. Yeah, she died in 2012, so this is released about 5 years before she died. So yep. Manic Street Preachers, Everything Must Go. I also have 2 versions of this, 2 copies of this. I didn't know I had the other one, so I bought another one, and here we are. So I looked at them. The other one's in slightly better condition. This is an excellent album. Manic Street Preachers I find are a little bit hit and miss with their stuff. They've got some really, really great stuff, but some also really kind of boring stuff. And it can really, like hit and miss is the best way I could describe them. They're a band that I like, and I'd say I'm a fan of theirs, and I've liked them for over 20 years. I liked them when this first came out. Was it 96 or whatever it was? But you kind of go through their albums, it's almost like yes, no, maybe no, yes, no. Um, but this album's a pretty solid from beginning to end. Elvis Impersonator, Design for Life, Kevin Carter, and not a lot of singles on it as well. Everything Must Go. I always liked The Girl Who Wanted to Be God. I love the guitar on that. In general, I like James Dean Bradfield's guitar tone. Apparently, it's very influenced by Slash, he says. But I think he's got a very strong guitar tone, quite recognizable. Talked about these the other day, well, not the other day, a couple of weeks ago, and I said in the video, I don't know why I had them. These are things that I think actually someone would want, because I know there are definitely fans out there and people who like, specifically try and buy punk stuff. But I've never listened to them and I never will listen to them, so what's the point of me keeping them? I said that in the other video, and I decided I'm going to get rid of them. These were 50 cents each when I got them, so I'm sure, someone will want them, surely. I think I've done a video about this as well, haven't I? Have I? Made so many videos I forget what I've talked about and what I haven't. Celebrity Skin by Hulk, got 2 copies of this. Forgot I had a copy of it, rebought it. Again, these are all 50 cents a dollar, so it's not like I'm dropping huge amounts on it. And again, I looked at both copies. This one's a little bit more faded, and the disc is a little bit scratched, but it's again, this is a good album. I like this album. Quite different from the one before this, from Miss World, is it? No, Live Through This. Miss World, the song Live Through This. Quite different. Live Through This is much more raw. This is quite polished, production-wise. Very got a lot of sheen on it, but it's a good album. Rising Sand by Robert Plant and Alison Krauss. Now, I, like most people, who doesn't love Robert Plant? Who doesn't like Led Zeppelin? I guess there are some people who don't like Led Zeppelin out there, but I haven't met any of them. I remember when this came out. I think this won the Grammy that year, for whatever year it came out. Was it 2007? And it got really good reviews. But I bought it. I think I bought it about a year ago, and I've listened through to it a couple of times when I bought it. I listened through to it again yesterday when I was kind of thinking what to get rid of, and I thought that it's certainly not a bad album at all, but it's just does nothing for me. It played through end to end, and it's kind of nothing stood out to me. It's a bit too coffee shop for me, background music kind of. The thing is, I could have listened to this a few more times and it might have really grown on me. So I'm not 100% on this one. Not 100%, but probably, I'm probably going to get rid of it because, like I said, it's just, it really didn't do anything for me at all. Robbie Williams, I can't stand him. I can't stand his music. I don't know why I got this in the first place. It's a greatest hits collection. Some of his songs I've heard so many times on, just day-to-day life. I think New Zealand as a market, even though it's a very small market, because our population is small, an artist here can penetrate deeply into the fabric of society in an easier way than, say, the US. Because, the New Zealand population has grown in the last 10 years because of immigration. But for a long time, we were around 4 million. It's now, I think it's 5.5 million. And so there's statistics. There's certain artists, Robbie Williams, Ben Harper, Tool. There was one I was reading about last night. I think Michael Jackson was big everywhere, but Michael Jackson in particular, there was a lot of, some of his albums went number one here, didn't go, like even his remix albums, Michael Jackson did that Blood on the Dance Floor remix album, and it went number one in like a handful of countries in the world, like New Zealand, Switzerland, and fucking, Azerbaijan or something like that. But anyway, one of the artists that is just seemed to be super popular here, even more than any other countries, was Robbie Williams. And when you go to the secondhand shops, you can be guaranteed of at least one of his stuff, and if it's a big shop, fucking multiple copies of his albums, his greatest hits collections, everything. And I just don't like his music, and I don't know why I bought this. I was in one of those moods, I guess, where I just thought, I want to buy something, and it was only 50 cents. I remember buying it at the shop, got home, listened to it, and just like, ugh. I don't know how I'm going to give this to either, because like I said, you could walk into any shop a secondhand shop in New Zealand and find a copy of this for $1. Anyway, Soul to Soul. Now, I know why I got this. When this came out at about 93, I would guess. Yes, 93. In the mid-90s, when I was starting to kind of get into music and buying my own music, when I was early teens, I used to see this around a lot in shops, and I remember seeing the posters on the wall in music shops, the advertising posters. And I always thought it looked kind of cool. And it, Soul to Soul, you could guess it's going to be soul music, but I thought, well, I saw it around so much back then, and obviously they had quite a few singles of it. This is a collection of them from 88 to 93, and there's 15 songs on it. I thought, well, there must be some good songs on it. I listened to it, no, it's not the kind of music I like. Is it soul music? They say soul, neo-soul, dance, R&B, rap, British soul, reggae, rock. So kind of like almost all the things that I really don't like. And I didn't like it. It didn't, again, well, I'm not going to say it was bad. It's just, it's not my kind of music at all. So yeah. Shay Fu is a New Zealand hip hop artist. I like some of his stuff. I have a greatest hits collection of his. So I thought I was either going to keep this, which is his most famous album, Navigator, or the greatest hits collection. I thought I might as well keep the greatest hits collection. There's more of a breadth of material across his career as opposed to this. I think I've listened through to this once, so I can certainly not. I don't think I'm going to miss it much. Came in 2001. Jeez, man. Seems it's just recent, this, and it's 22 years old. 2 Eagles greatest hits collections. I have 3. I'm keeping one and getting rid of 2 of them. The one I'm keeping is a double disc greatest hits. So it's got all this stuff and lots of other stuff. So this has just kind of got the most, ones you hear on the radio. To be honest, I'm not really the biggest fan of the Eagles. I remember last year, what I used to do is in my job, my days off are very haphazard, and very rarely are they Saturday, Sunday in a row. Like this week, it was Sunday, Monday, and next week it's Sunday, Monday again. The week before it was Tuesday, Wednesday. Anyway, when I used to have work Friday, finish work, and then have Saturday, Sunday off, I used to have a drink on Friday night, like a couple of beers or something. I don't do that anymore just because, I don't know, decided not to, but I used to have a drink on Friday and put on some music and just listen to music Friday evening. Very very old man type thing to do, but that's kind of what I like doing nowadays, I guess. And I put on the Eagles, and it was like annoying me. I was like, I don't know. I had this feeling like, I fucking hate this music. Why am I listening to it? And I kind of had like an epiphany of like, maybe I don't like the Eagles. And then I was listening to them again yesterday, and again I was kind of like, a lot of the songs I didn't want to get through. I was like, next song. So anyway, yeah, I'm not sure where I fall on the Eagles, but I certainly don't need 3 greatest hits collections, so get rid of 2 of them. This, don't even know what this is. Emo, I think it says. This is my home. It doesn't play. I've tried to play this on 2 CD players. It doesn't play in either of them. This looks like something that's I don't know. I think I searched it. It's a German artist. I've got a feeling, but I've never heard what it is. I'm never going to hear what it is. So that's a shame, but oh well. Great. User Illusion 1. I've got another copy, so this is a second copy. Might as well get rid of it. Don't need 2 copies of User Illusion 1 or 2. You can see someone's written their name on it. I might try and get that off with some paint thinner or something. But Guns N' Roses, I know a lot of people absolutely love Guns N' Roses. I've never been the biggest fan of theirs. They stray. I like their straight ahead. They're more rock songs. But when they get into I don't know. Sometimes they go too country and too bluesy, and then sometimes too orchestral. And I know that's why people love them. But I like Right Next Door to Hell. That's one of my favorite Guns N' Roses songs. I like their version of Live and Let Die. I like Coma. It's an interesting song, but the rest of the album I'm not the biggest fan of. But anyway, the last one I've showed this before when I bought it. Don't know why the fuck I bought it, but I did. Rick Wakeman. This is just organ music, cheesy organ music or something. I listened through to it once and it was a struggle to say the least. So yeah, don't need that. So that's what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 plus I think the other 10. So I've got about 25 so far that I'm going to get rid of. Like so I said, I'm going to do another kind of sweep over my collection and have another kind of think about what I really don't need to keep. There might probably be maybe another 10, and I might show those when I'm ready. And then I'm going to kind of have to get them all together and try to, first of all, sell them, which I don't think I'm going to have much luck with. Maybe try and get rid of them for like really cheap, like the whole 25 CDs for $5 or something, like just to get rid of them, because it's not about making money. It's about building the collection that I want and not just having a bunch of filler that's silly stuff that I don't even know why I bought in the first place. I really trying to want to get out of that habit. Not that I did it a lot anyway, but yeah. Anyway, we'll leave it there for today. Thank you for watching.